sinister story now for you. More than half of child sexual abuse offences last year were actually committed by other children, according to a new police report.
Yeah, that's up from about a third historically, with offences classified as those aged 10 to 17 abusing other children.
Well, police say that this growing and concerning trend is likely fuelled by violent porn and access to smartphones.
Let's talk to CEO of Freedom from Abuse, Marilyn Hawes. Good to see you, as always, Marilyn. I want to kick this off by talking about vicious circles, because how much of that it's been known for a long time that actually a lot of children who abuse have actually been abused themselves and then go on to be abused. I mean, it's a really awful situation. How much of that is tied into this, do we think?
Well, I spent time before lockdown talking to sex offenders and paedophiles, and if you look at the Institute of Health visitors, the Institute of Health, their figures say 1 in 8 people who were sexually abused as children go on and abuse. So that means 7 out of 8 don't. OK, so that is actually a myth. If you've been abused, it does not mean you're going to go on and abuse. The problems here are several. You've got poor funding with early years, closing down 2/3 of children's centres due to poor funding and all that sort of stuff. That's a lifeline for parents to learn about parenting and be better parents, and that is what's creating a lot of trouble in the early years. You've then got social services when schools, and I go into schools, I was a deputy head, when schools actually refer children that they believe have issues, are told, oh, this is just child's play. Show me yours, I'll show you mine. No, it's not. And the case is closed. Then you've got pornography. So we've got 7-year-olds now with an iPhone watching porn, very, very easy to access. I think it's 1 in 4 10-year-olds have watched hardcore porn. There is no soft porn anymore. It's the real awful, awful stuff. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's completely normalising it, distorting their brains. This is why you're getting so much harmful sexualised behaviour in schools. You've got 10-year-olds acting out on the younger children because of what they've seen on pornography. And now you've got children creating their own child abuse images on AI. Now, to reduce this, if parents would just step up and learn about the simple things of putting parental locks on. You can't leave everything to the online safety bill. Parents have got a responsibility. They are buying their children an adult device, not a toy, and they need to stand alongside their children and monitor it better. Get the phones out the bedrooms, monitor them, see what they're doing. Why does a 7-year-old need an iPhone, for goodness sake? It's nonsense.
I think it's too easy, Marilyn, to point the finger at parents in this. I don't know a single parent who would knowingly put their child at risk of any of this. And, you know, to take it, I mean, I totally agree, iPhones are not appropriate for young children, but a lot of, say, 11, 12-year-old kids have older siblings, perhaps they're the youngest of 3, they've legitimately got access to these phones. A lot of this is going on in the school playground. This isn't children at home on devices. This is where the parents aren't there to supervise their children. And we have to live in a world where this kind of stuff just simply isn't accessible for kids, regardless of where they are. And I don't think we should be pointing the finger at parents.
Well, I'm sorry, some of it is, and you're wrong there, because they buy the devices. It's also schools should not be letting these phones come into the playground. It's utter nonsense. Why do they need their phones? It's rubbish. They shouldn't have the phones. And I'm sorry, you're wrong about parents. I train right across the country. We all do on my team. You try and get parents to a course that helps them understand the risks online. You can talk to any school and they will tell you that the take-up is horrific. You could have a school with 600 children and you might get 10 parents attend. They don't think it's going to happen to their child. And there is an accountability for everybody, to the schools to stop the phones going in, to parents to better monitor. Of course, they don't know what their children are doing when the phones are up in their bedroom.
I mean, I don't disagree with you that there is a role for parents in this, but it seems to me that you're focusing your anger mainly at them. You haven't mentioned once these porn websites, which are making an absolute fortune. I mean, in France, you have to produce legal documentation to show your age. It's incredibly hard. This has been brought in. It's very incredibly hard to get onto these sites, and it's been brought in to protect children. We know that the stuff's out there. We have to do better at helping kids.
Well, absolutely. The porn industry is absolutely raking it in. It really is. And then the main thing is based in Canada. So and a lot of this does go down to the government being, as you say, if France has got that in place, why can't we? You know, there's much more attack needs to be happening on the porn industry. And that's why we had the online safety bill. But the other thing is as well, the online safety bill is going to get sort of deal with encryption, you know, trying to get rid of encryption, because currently with encryption, if everything is encrypted, the police can't check back who was the person that first sent the images, who was the person that actually, you know, that's the problem. There's a load of issues here. It's an absolute dog's dinner. But everybody needs to make a better job to help, you know, to help their children understand. So when we go into schools, we are very direct with the children. We get behind the eyes of the children and help them understand what are those hidden harms. And that's what I would urge parents to do, to learn
Marilyn,
how to help.
So I'm sorry to say we've got to leave it there. I mean, it's, as you say, a hugely complex situation, but thank you for your thoughts this morning.